Sports on 32 FM 94.9.
Good afternoon. Welcome to 32 FM 94.9 Scoreboard Reloaded, right here on the dial that fills the air with laughter. You are under the sound of the voice of Oluwatimilei SAMIES. So good on the program this lovely afternoon, and definitely we are here to talk about sporting stories. Yesterday we had games that go down across different centers from England to Spain to Germany. From those results of games, for some teams, it is making their season, and for some teams, can we say it is going to mar their bid for a championship title for the 2024-2025 season. Before we just reflect on the games that went down yesterday, there is a new update. I want to talk about the CHAN tournament, which was earlier scheduled to go down in the month of February. Remember I told you this morning that the competition has been shifted to a new month. That's the month of August. And the reasons for this, you know already, but the draws for the CHAN championship is set to go down later today. That's by 6 p.m. For that draw is set to go down there in Nairobi, Kenya. And of course, we are with two nations still to qualify for the CHAN tournament. After we have the already qualified nations where we have Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Morocco, Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania, Niger, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo. We also have Congo itself, Sudan, Zambia, Angola, and Madagascar. But just as the draw will go down later today, that's by 6 p.m. in Kenya, let's see who the Eagles are talking about. The CHAN Eagles would face off against. That's in the 8th edition of the CHAN Championship. Well, yesterday, 𝐃𝐈𝐒, the new manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, he was in Ikenne alongside Austin Governor Victor Ekpeba, and maybe some of those who are going to be in the backroom staff of his guidance. We definitely had a word or two with the CHAN team yesterday. And of course, we'll still take a listen to the words of 𝐃𝐈𝐒, the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where definitely he discussed about that pressure, maybe after 6 games, who will be held accountable, where he definitely said that time is of the essence for managers. But then games are set to go down also later today across different centers, where definitely we have Everton against Aston Villa, Leicester City against Crystal Palace, Newcastle against the Wolverhampton Wanderers, and the biggest game in England, Arsenal, the North London Derby against Tottenham Football Club. For Mikel Arteta, he has been asked that can Arsenal still achieve a status that's a glory this season, and he says he believes in it. And same as a former Arsenal and Tottenham striker, Emmanuel Adebayo, he believes the Arsenal Football Club, they can go all out to get a victory against Tottenham Football Club later tonight. In Italy, Inter Milan will be up against Bologna, with then VfL Bochum That's in Germany, will be up against St. Pauli. Union Berlin against Augsburg. Bayern Munich will be up against Hoffenheim. Bremen will be up against Edenheim. And Stuttgart will be up against RB Leipzig. And the Copa del Rey games are also set to go down. So definitely we'll talk about all of this on today's edition of the program Scoreboard Reloaded right here on 32 FM. And you are still listening to the voice of 𝐒𝐒𝐒𝐿 SAMIES. You're getting on the program this afternoon. And I'm seated next to Peter, who definitely is joining me on the show. Good afternoon, Peter.
Thank you for having me, SAMIES.
Definitely. I think we should just start straight from, let's start straight from the European scene, where we'll talk about the games that went down yesterday and some transfer stories. Yes. For Aston Villa, they've signed a former Arsenal youth star, that's Donian Malen, who last played for Borussia Dortmund. And of course, he left Borussia Dortmund to join Aston Villa. And that's a bit from the transfer stories for 𝐃𝐈𝐒. In the late hours of yesterday, he was seen standing in front of the mural of Diego Armando Maradona there in Naples, where definitely is just wishing the city that's by. Remember that he's set to join Paris. That's Paris Saint-Germain, and he's going to be playing in the city of Paris. That's in France for the remainder of the 2024-2025 football season. But going straight to the games that went down yesterday, it was mixed reactions from all of the games that went down. One victory in English football yesterday, and that victory only came for West Ham Football Club. Graham Potter getting his first win. That's in a second game in charge of the London side. They defeated Fulham. It's a derby. We'll put it as that also. They defeated Fulham by 3-2. Alexander Iwobi, this man went into that game, scored 2 goals for himself. And we'll talk about the appearance of Nigerians in the English Premier League. Alexander Iwobi is second on the list. And we talk about how the game also went. That's from the London Stadium, where West Ham defeated Fulham, to the Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea they left it later through a Reece James free kick to make the game 2-2. And also at the GTEC Stadium, where Manchester City, they surrendered a 2-goal lead with 8 minutes left to play. They drew that game against Brentford 2-2. And then we'll talk about the game that went on at the City ground. Taiwo Awoniyi's Nottingham Forest. They were close to completing the double over Liverpool this season. But Diogo Jota, who definitely happens to be a proper gunman, he came onto the field of play and got the equalizing goal for Ancelotti Liverpool, which definitely, if Arsenal can take the advantage, it is going to be a title race. We are open for the 2024-2025 season.
Yeah, all games went down yesterday. Points shared in most of the games, except for the game that was in London between West Ham and Fulham. And in first scene or first check, you think that Iwobi was the one who gave the assist to Jimenez and the other guy who came from the bench now. His name does keep my mind. Yes, Wilson, who has been scoring from the bench for Fulham for the last couple of games. And after you get to recheck, and then you realize that those goals were scored by Alex Iwobi. So that ended in a big win there last night for Graham Potter in charge of the Hammers. Of course, he took charge, but this is his first game in front of the home fans. And to get this done against Marco Silva's side, who, of course, you know how they've been doing so far in the league and in the cup game. So that was done and dusted for West Ham. Important win for them. And, of course, that took them up the ladder in the Premier League. So still staying with London, Brentford were home when you thought City were going to get more goals in that game, folding with 2 goals. Pep was looking relaxed and saying to himself, 3 points in the kitty without conceding. Visa got that important one back and, of course, took him ahead in terms of the number of goals he has scored, or any player have scored in Brentford in the Premier League. And as you thought that the game was going to wrap up, then international captain of the side, Norgard came up and scored that equalizer. You put a little blame on the goalkeeper for Manchester City. But again, if you take a look at it well, you also have to give kudos to the Dane for getting that equalizer. And at the point in time, you thought that Bissouma the Cameroonian now, Mbeumo, we get that winning goal. But the ball didn't go in because Netanyahu was there. Even though if you take a look at that one more time, you realize that that ball probably is not on target. But it was a good performance from from Brentford, Thomas Frank for his side getting a point against City. And for City, when you thought after 3 games before last night, maybe they were back to winning ways, but that didn't happen. And of course, just to wrap up, Chelsea, Bournemouth. Chelsea, first half was good, second half was bad. Bournemouth came out gun blazing, got that lead in the game. And when you thought maybe they would score, you thought one through a counter attack, they were wasteful in those moments, and Chelsea took advantage with James. What a free kick he scored last night to get inside the points. And for Maresca again, you begin to count the number of games Chelsea have failed to bury, failed to win.
5 Premier League games now.
Yes, just take away the FA Cup where they were good in the last few days, but in the Premier League they've been bad home and away from home. And of course the last one, which for me has got to be the biggest game, just you say save the best for the last. And it was Nottingham Forest who wanted to prove something last night. But maybe to some extent again they were able to prove it. And as we speak right now, they're driving towards the Champions League place for next season. One went end there. Liverpool, like you said, came back. 𝐃𝐈𝐒, a boy that understands how Nuno Espirito works. Don't forget, when he came to the Premier League, it was Nuno brought him from Portugal to the Premier League to join Wolverhampton Wanderers, and we saw what he did. So for Liverpool, all they will be doing tonight is to pray that Spurs get a big win tonight in London against Arsenal. And for Arsenal fans, like you mentioned, they want to cut that lead, put aside what happened to them in the EFL Cup where they lost to Newcastle by 2-0 right there in London. And of course, in the last few days where they also lost to United in the FA Cup. So they want to put all of that aside and go into the game to get a win. Adebayo has been speaking. Don't forget, he was once an Arsenal player and a sports player.
Well, being an Arsenal player and a sports player, well, definitely we call him, or maybe we just say it casually, Reece James, the work-from-home captain. But definitely when he had to show up, it had an impact. That's for Chelsea Football Club yesterday. Remember that they were closer, they were on the verge of defeat. That's at the bridge in front of their home fans. But Reece James came on board and definitely rescued a point for Chelsea Football Club.
What was that name you called him now a few minutes ago? Work from home
captain.
I think some also call him National Grid.
Keeps falling.
I don't see that.
Okay, but his presence actually made an impact. And then you look at Enzo Maresca, yes. Maybe a lot of people don't know this. Last season in the championship with Leicester City, he almost bottled the championship with Leicester City, where he went, I think, 7, 8, 9, 10 games without a win. And that was when Ipswich Town played the catch-up on them. But now in England, that's with the top flight. He has gone 5 games now in English football. From that draw with that Everton to losing to the hands of Fulham, and then I think he got another draw, and then another defeat, then another draw.
Before the game last night, you begin to wonder what's going on, because Chelsea was just in the news yesterday. A few players, the Portuguese, Renato Vieira wanted to move away to Dortmund, doesn't want a permanent move. There was Disasi also wanted to move away from the club, maybe looking for a permanent deal. And there were news about
Chalobah. I think
way.
that has been triggered.
Yes,
to get back to Chelsea.
On his way from Selhurst Park to. So maybe what Chelsea have failed to do in the last few games is to keep it tight at the back. So maybe now they have Chalobah back, who has done so well with Oliver Glasner's side, because they're talking about Crystal Palace. Now that he's coming back to Chelsea, maybe to some extent they'll start keeping clean sheet and of course get maximum. But like you said, wasn't the best of results for Chelsea in the last few games. Well,
I don't know if we should take a listen to the words of Reece James, or we should just keep going with the flow of the game, because we have a lot of things to discuss. Away from England, before we talk about the games that's set to go down today, in Germany, Bayer Leverkusen, yes, they got the victory, Grimaldo, and they are just within 1 point of table toppers Bayern Munich there in the German Bundesliga. But the shocking result from in Germany last night was the game between Holstein Kiel and Borussia Dortmund. 3-0. They were losing that game, but they actually tried to fight back 3-2 before Holstein Kiel got the red card, and they put the icing on the cake, 4-2 to defeat that Borussia Dortmund. And then this makes me question the future of Nuri Sahin. What is he doing to his club side, and how can the club really survive all of this? Remember, out of all the attacking players they have also, they let go of Donian Malen to Aston Villa.
Yeah, the Dutchman wanted to move to Villa. He's gone to Villa to join Unai. But his club side back in Germany are struggling. Nuri Sahin, I don't know for how long he will stay. At the moment, the likes of Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund Eintracht Frankfurt with the Egyptian boy Omar Mamouche, who's on his way.
He was on target yesterday again.
To Manchester City. Just a few more details to be wrapped up between these two parties, City and Eintracht Frankfurt, before the 26-year-old Egyptian will fly from Frankfurt to Manchester to have his medicals and, of course, being a City player in the next few days. But for Dortmund, plenty of questions. Maybe the management of the club side wants to still believe that the talking about Nuri Sahin will get them maybe a place in the Champions League, if not a place in the UEFA Cup, but it doesn't look good as we speak.
They are 14 points off the top of the standing.
Dortmund will be looking and see if what they need is a couple of reinforcements. Don't forget that Karim Adeyemi also has not been playing because he has been out injured, came back in the new year in the first game, but wasn't the best for him last night. He was not even listed for the game away from home. So we'll wait to see how they want to navigate all of this. Dortmund, you know where they were a couple of months ago. They were playing in the UEFA Champions League final. But look at where they are as we speak right now. They are really struggling. So I think that is said in terms of what Dortmund did last night. For Bayer Leverkusen, he's not been counting, start counting, because maybe we're getting to that point again where Xabi Alonso said, you know what, yes, we've lost a few games. We've lost just one game so far this season. We want to go all the way. They've won 11 games, 10 on the bounce in all competition. And last night was a big win against the Freiburg, a team also who was also pushing for a place in the UEFA Champions League in the coming season. So for me, I think for Frankfurt, Bayern, job well done. For one, the other one will be looking that tonight also wants to get his job done. That's talking about Bayern, whether we're playing that game later today. So for them, it's pulling away from Dortmund. But as we speak right now, it's 1 point separating Bayern from Bayer Leverkusen.
And also yesterday, after 20 games played in the Italian Serie A, for Juventus, you wonder why this side or how this side, that they are the only side in Europe top 5 leagues yet to taste the defeat in the domestic league.
But you know how many draws they've had? 7
victories, 13 draws.
You begin to count because
20 games.
I can't remember the last time Juventus, the whole lady, got a win in the Italian league. They've been drawing.
They were close to a victory yesterday,
they were close, but they never
came off the bench.
They never got a win. Remember also how you think that they're going to go well in the Coppa Italia, played away from home, and we'll have to have the Milan derby go on. And so for me, I think it's not the best for Thiago Motta. He's also trying to do 1 or 2 recruitment into the side and get a few playing staff to join and see maybe that will help them. Kolo Muani is joining them from Paris Saint-Germain. And so maybe for him, it's looking like a proper replacement for Dusan Vlahovic, who has been out injured. So we'll wait to see what the former Eintracht Frankfurt and who's coming on loan from PSG will offer Juventus Football Club. But last night in Bergamo, 1-1. And away from that also, we also begin to question the performance of Ademola Lookman. Since he won the African Player of the Year, he hasn't hit the ground running with the Bergamo side.
Well, I think we actually need to assess that and see what the coming days also, how the performance would be for Ademola Lookman. But going into the games that's set to go down today, before we touch on other stories, let's just discuss about the biggest one there in England, Arsenal against that's Tottenham Football Club. Well, earlier this season when both sides met, it was a lone goal victory for Arsenal. They at the Tottenham Stadium. Gabriel Magalhaes was the man who got that goal. But for Arsenal Football Club now, they are not in the rhythm in which they want to be on the back of 2 defeats. And would they be open to actually get a victory against that Tottenham Football Club? Remember that their next game after Tottenham would be against Aston Villa. And this should actually be a good opportunity for them to close on the gap at the top of the standing. So let's take a listen to the words of Mikel Arteta before I get the thoughts of Peter speaking about the chances of Arsenal maybe getting a victory later today, or the worst come to worst, if Arsenal can maybe win the Premiership.
When you take a moment for yourself, you think about only 6 points away from top of the league, where you are right now. Still gathering a lot of form, players still to return to this squad and improve the quality of this squad. Right now, would you still feel confident in terms of what you can achieve this season?
Yes, I am. I'm very am because it's performance, because it's how we sustain performance against any opposition. And the numbers are there, they are not a lie.
Would you want to see from your team now going forward? 2024 was a successful year. When you look at the calendar year from January to December, fantastic. 12 months for Arsenal. What do you want to see now going forward?
The trophy that I think we deserve, because with that level of consistency and those numbers, normally you are champion. Normally you already have to have some big trophies in your cabinet. And we haven't. So there is something that we are missing, and that's the piece that we have to find.
Well, for Mikel Arteta, he wants to find the missing piece. 5 years in charge of Arsenal Football Club. 1 FA Cup, 2 Community Shield, or 3. Is this enough to be labelled a good manager for a top side like Arsenal Football Club?
So how many years is Jurgen Klopp spent with Liverpool Football Club?
But he won everything available.
Yeah, I'm just saying, how many years did he spend?
I think 7, 8 years.
How many Premier League did he won?
1.
How many Champions League did he?
He won all the trophies.
No,
one apiece.
Yes.
1 apiece.
So I'll also take you back, because I've had people talk about it. Sir Alex Ferguson was fantastic during his years with Manchester United. He won dozen in terms of the English Premier League, but how many Champions League did he? Because we begin to put these things on the table to try to get at managers to say he's been there for 5 years, been there for 4 years.
But what's Mikel Arteta winning?
Man, I'm not here to defend Mikel Arteta.
Okay.
But I'm saying if the board decides to give him the chance, give him the years to wait and see what happened, then so be it. They give him those chances to see what happened. But for me, I think for Mikel Arteta, what they are not getting right is that transfer policy that is not working. He's talking about the missing edge here and all of that. And I was here saying yesterday that if you check the number of goals they scored last season, and of course compare that with Manchester City, you say that they didn't do badly for a team who hasn't gotten a proper number 9. See, man, just yesterday I was watching Liverpool play against Spurs and against Nottingham Forest. This is the thing we should put on the table. Liverpool is also playing without a number 9. Have you been thinking they've been playing without a number 9?
But are they deploying a Gravenberch up front?
No. You can't. It's not. Do you say Luis Diaz is a striker? Do you say Gakpo is a striker? You say Mo Salah is a striker? No. This was the same system Arsenal played last season, and they scored plenty of goals. Because it's not working now, I've also said, had my voice to it, let them get a striker. But if they don't get a striker, the guys who are on front should be scoring goals. You should be predicting your team and say, if the goals don't come from Saka, where the goals come from? Can come from anywhere. Should be coming from anywhere. But hey, tonight is in the derby. Throw everything into the bin and just come into this one, because this one tonight will be very... For Spurs, we know they've got their issues. Bad thing is that Timo Werner is out. Good thing on the flip side is that Richarlison is back in the squad. They've got Dominic Solanke. If Arsenal is not careful, it can't be the one to hurt them. Fantastic midfielders they've got in that team. I'm hoping that Benteke will be fit enough for the game tonight. If not, there's Bissouma, there's Papa Matassa, there's James Maddison. I know they're lacking in terms of defense now, but Arsenal, they also have the strikers.
You should mention their new goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, who's coming in. I know it's the body, but that defense line, are they good enough? They are not good enough. But Arsenal also in the final thought, are they good enough? They are not good enough. Where would the goals come from tonight? I think Spurs in terms of the final thought, they've got players that can hurt Arsenal. But for Arsenal's final thought, do they have Martinelli? Can he come to this party and dance? Trossard, can he come to this party with his best? Ḥ'Havertz, can he tell the fans what happened on Sunday is bygone? Let's move on. So all of these questions tonight we'll wait to see when these two sides get to meet for 90 years.
Well, let's also take a listen to the words of Emmanuel Adebayo speaking about the North London derby.
I think Tottenham, if they finish in the top 4, it will be a record for it. Will be great for them. But Arsenal want to win the league. So I think if you ask me who need to win this game more, it have to be Arsenal, because Tottenham already behind by far compared to the first with Liverpool. Arsenal are 6 points behind, I think, with 1 game for Tottenham in hand. So which means they don't have a choice; they have to win. So the team that need to win more tomorrow is Arsenal. Now without a striker, let's watch.
All right, fingers are crossed. Just ahead of that game later at night at the Emirates Stadium. Well, moving away from football stories now, our European football stories from the African scene, the CHAN Championship. Yes, definitely we've discussed about that from time to time. But the update now is that the competition is set to begin in the month of August, and the draws are definitely will go down by 6 p.m. there in Kenya. But Eric Chol yesterday, he was in Ikene, where the Chan Eagles are camped, and of course he had 1 or 2 words with them, just preparing them and telling him or speaking to them about what his ideologies definitely are in when he takes over that job. But the good thing is he's going to be working closely with Daniel Ogumodede, Austin Eguavoen, and Fidelis Ilechukwu in charge of the home-based Eagles. But away from that, quickly talking about some table tennis stories for Haruna Quadri. Last week he lost in the semi-finals there in Doha, and of course earlier this week he also lost out in that's not so much of a great place, but he is back into the top 20 of the world table tennis rankings. And with that, we also move straight into tennis action. So that's the Australian Open. Tommy Paul, well, he has advanced into the next round. Alexander Zverev, 𝐒𝐈𝐒 also, he made it into the next round. Davidovich Fokina, well, he defeated Felix Auger-Aliassime. That
game just ended a few minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago.
Yes, 5 sets.
Yeah.
That was intense.
And the Spaniard got this over the Canadian.
So we also had in the female category also where Paula Badosa made it into the next round. Vicky can make it into the Matia Kostyuk, Cory Kokogoff, they all made it into the next round.
But one lady is out, the lady from China that you mentioned.
Yeah, I made mention of that, Zheng Qinwen. That was the shocking result I got this morning where we talk about tennis stories. But like I said, the games are set to go down across different centers later today. And of course, in Spain, it is going to be Barcelona against Real Betis, Pontevedra up against Getafe, Almeria against Leganes, Elche against Atletico de Madrid. But for Carlo Ancelotti, he has said his side they have the opportunity to bounce back when definitely they'll be playing in their own Carabao Cup. Did I say Carabao Cup? Copa del Rey Cup games. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined us on today's edition of the program. Thanks so much to Peter who has joined me on the show. Till we meet again tomorrow, Scoreboard in 15, Scoreboard Reloaded. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. I say do enjoy the rest of the day and bye for now.
BBC. Kò ṣeé má gbọ́ BBC Yorùbá.
ọmọ ọba mẹ́sàn-án ló ti jáde báyìí láti tako èèyàn sípò Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ tuntun, ọba Abímbọ́lá Ọ̀wọ́adé.
ọmọ ọba Ṣínà Àfọlábí tìdílé Adé